it's me Vibhinta and welcome back to another episode of the Essential Makeup series. And today we're talking about some makeup habits that we've learned from the internet that might work on social media but do not work in real life. But before we begin, for all of you all who don't know me, my name is Vibhinta Verma. I'm a former model and an image consultant, and I started the Essential Makeup series on YouTube to help real women learn about makeup for real life. So if you want to improve your makeup game, you want to learn what makeup works best for you, don't forget to subscribe to learn lots more with me. This video might make me a little unpopular with all the YouTube and Instagram makeup artists out there, and hey, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that they're doing it wrong. What I am saying is there's a lot of tricks that we learn from the internet that are best left on the internet because of the cameras, the lighting, the editing, all of that stuff. It works for that, doesn't work for real life. And I know there's an entire generation of women who have learned their makeup from the internet, and that's not a bad thing. Well, hey, I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm here on the internet telling you guys about makeup. But what I do want you guys to understand is you need to watch those trends, learn, take away what might work for you, but take all of it with a pinch of salt. You don't need to follow trends blindly. You don't need to do every single step that each one of the makeup bloggers are doing. You don't need your looks to be red, blue, yellow, green, because that's not what real life makeup needs to be about. And that's what we're going to talk about. So let's get started. Here are some myths that I'm going to bust for you. Well, the first myth that social media has kind of propagated is getting you to believe that the primer can make or break your makeup. Don't get me wrong, I do love a good primer. I use them on certain occasions as well. But this idea that not using primer or not using enough primer or not using the most expensive primer is going to create disaster for your makeup is absolutely wrong. Primers have a very specific purpose. So there's a few things that you need to keep in mind while using a primer. A, if you're going to use a primer, use one that's correct for your skin. A hydrating or a dewy finish primer if you've got dry skin. Use a mattifying primer if you've got oily skin. If you've got pores and fine lines, use a blurring primer. All that is great. But you also have to remember the second rule of using primer, which is using it sparingly. You take your primer and you apply it in the spots where you really need it. So if I have pores in certain parts of my face, I'm going to take just the tiniest amount, this much, and dab it into the places where I need it. That's it. Don't take a primer and apply it all over your face. You don't always need it. Remember, if you want to focus on creating a beautiful blank canvas for your makeup, nothing can do that better than skincare. The second thing that social media makes you believe you must absolutely use is color correctors. I've barely ever met anyone in my 20 plus years of doing makeup, modeling, sitting in the best makeup artist chairs, have I ever come across somebody who really needed color correction, and especially not a multiple color correction on their face. What do I mean by that? This. So this is the image we're bombarded by. To be honest, it makes a great thumbnail image. It makes an eye-catching post, something that you're going to stop and stare at. But this is not reality. Color correcting is based on the theory of color, okay? Of mixing complementary colors to cancel each other out. So green cancels out redness, yellow cancels out violet spots, violet takes away sallowness. All of those things, yes, they do that. But these are to be used in extreme circumstances. Most concealing can be done by foundation and concealer. And if you do want to occasionally use a color corrector because maybe there's too much redness on your face or your dark circles are just too much to handle, you have to use it very sparingly, because remember that more than just making a pretty picture like this, color correctors are actually going to change the color of your foundation. So you correct the flaw and then you have to correct the color corrector. Well, let me show you how this needs to be done. I'll just take a little bit. I'm using an orange, which helps cancel out my dark circles, which are quite bad since I've been recovering from COVID because of all the nasal congestion and stuff. But hey, this much, literally, okay? I'm going to warm it up in between my fingers and then just... And then you follow this up with your foundation and your concealer, and that's it. Now, talking about foundation brings me to the next bad habit that social media teaches us. You know, you've seen all those videos where people are directly dropping their foundation on their faces or their oils, kind of like this. Well, don't do that. That's a sheer waste of your products. Yeah, the companies love these videos because it's a great way to show the product, right? If I do this, but you don't need that much in real life. The amount that you need can easily be dispensed on the back of your wrist or on a palette like this. Just take, most people need maybe 2 pumps of foundation, and if you do need more, build it up. But why are you simply wasting your product? I don't get it. So remember, when it comes to makeup, it needs to be blended. Less can be more when used the right way. Don't waste your money and don't waste your products. Now, while I'm doing my foundation, let's talk about foundation. That is not foundation. That, my dear friends, is a mask, which is not what you're supposed to do to your face. Foundation needs to be blended in. Foundation needs to look like second skin. Can I tell you the truth about social media and about modeling and about all those images that you see all the time? Those things are shot in special lights which diffuse everything, and then whatever is left is covered up with a filter, with Photoshop, with correcting apps, all of that stuff, right? And the other thing about these lights, the ring lights that we use, is a lot of stuff that they kind of blur out, which you can't see on camera. Then sometimes we end up putting more product on our face so that it shows up for the camera. But if you wear that much product and step out into the world, it's going to show and it's not going to look pretty. Once you get a nice even coverage, then what you want to do is check your face, and whatever still requires correcting or concealing, use a concealer there. And that's the way to do this. So let's also talk about high coverage and low coverage. Wearing more product doesn't necessarily give you higher coverage. It's going to sit on your face, not blend in, dry up, and then start cracking and creasing. If you want higher coverage, get a formula that's higher coverage, but don't make the mistake of piling on too much product, because while it'll look good, I'm not denying that, when you apply it, it's going to not be so great by the time your day is over. It's not going to give you a finish that's going to last. And the same thing goes for concealer. Take a little bit and blend. Blending is your best friend. I'm going to quickly finish my eyes, not doing anything, literally nothing, just using kajal and the same thing on top of my lid. And once that's done, we're going to come to the next bad habit that social media teaches us, which is over contouring and using highlighters indiscriminately. Contours are supposed to create depths in your face or make parts of your face recede so that they look smaller. And not everyone needs a smaller nose, higher cheekbones, longer face, but we all just kind of go all over face because that's what we've been watching. To become really good at applying your makeup, understand where your face needs the highlights and the contour. Choose a matte, cool brown color which isn't very dark, maybe 2 shades darker than your skin, and that's it. And choose where you're going to apply it, and of course apply it sparingly. If you see a stark brown line, that's not contouring. A well applied contour needs to blend and look like a shadow cast by the light. This much is enough to create an impact. And too much highlighter is just going to make you look like a sweaty oil slick. To apply your highlighter correctly, you must identify where the light catches your face on the high points and just blend in your highlighter on those points to create a gorgeous glow. And now it's time to do my lips and talk about the last bad habit that's become such a trend on social media. That is overdrawn lips. We see it everywhere, don't we? And again, I must say, with the lights, the filters, the cameras, you might just be able to pull it off, but in real life, if you go out like this, So what you can do is you can overdraw your lips by maybe say 0.5 millimeter up to 1 millimeter, and that's about it. So if you look really closely, my lip coloring ends before the indent of the lip. Can you see that? So while there is still a natural fullness that exists here, it hasn't been colored in, so I can draw that. Right? If you do want fuller looking lips, you might try one of those lip plumping balms or glosses that come. You might try a lighter lipstick instead of a darker lipstick because it reflects more light, and you might want to use a glossy lipstick instead of matte because matte lipsticks can actually make the lips look thinner than they actually are. So here we go. Nice glossy lips that work, a glossy face, highlighted, contoured, eyes that are defined, skin that is covered, but nothing like a mask. That's my 2 bits about makeup habits that we learn from social media that might work on social media but don't work in real life. So what did you think about this video? Did you absolutely hate it? Did you absolutely love it? If you learned something, do tell me. If you loved the video, please give me some love. Leave a comment. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. If you thought this video was helpful, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to know more. And I'll see you all next time.